Penny Taylor to help her facilitate. So really Phoenix just needs to do what they've done all year, and I think if they do that, they're going to take this game.
All right, well, Phoenix has not lost back-to-back games this season. If they can avoid the back-to-back loss, they're headed to the WNBA Finals. If it is the first time they lose back-to-back, it's Minnesota's 4th straight trip to the Finals. We'll be back at the half. Here's Kevin Ray and Ann Myers-Drysdale.
Go here in Game 3 of the WNBA Western Conference Finals. Taurasi, who led the attack with 23 in Game 2. Keys to Griner up high. And Griner quickly rolling to the basket, lays it up and in.
Yeah, look for Brittany Griner to get a lot more touches than she has in the last couple games.
Well, you said it, aggressive. Sandy Brondello reminding her young center, you have to be the aggressor.
And her teammates have to get her the ball.
Here's Simone Augustus. Augustus rising up and hitting that right elbow jumper. Of course, knocked down the go-ahead jumper with just a shade over 23 seconds left in Game 2. Griner on the post-up working on McCarville. Can't get the touch. Dupree had a hand on it, but can't control the loose ball rebound, so back comes Whalen. And as much attention is given to Maya Moore, you know, we talk about Lindsay Whalen and just her ability to dictate pace, tempo, and flow on both ends.
Well, she's been an MVP of this team for a long time because she controls, as you said, the tempo, but knows how to set everybody else up. 3 times led the league in assists.
Whalen will elect for the baseline pull-up and knocks it down over the oncoming defender, Penny Taylor.
And just watching her play, not only in this series but San Antonio, she is in a zone.
Yeah, 18 of 37 through the first 2 games of this series. Here's Taylor with a nice step-through move. Finds Griner rolling to the basket, kicks it into the corner to Bonner, who was able to save it with those long arms. Here's Bonner at a rough offensive game in Game 2 and comes up short on that jumper. Moore, pull-up 3 on the way, no.
Well, that's like a layup to her.
Always a good sign when she can miss that first 3. Taurasi on the drive, kicks the baseline, laying up and in.
But what a great shot, though. Turns the corner with the right hand and then switches it with the left with the little drop in the basket.
17 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals in Game 1 victory for Phoenix as Whalen gets tied up on the baseline. Finds Brunson, who goes right at Griner and forces the errant pull-up jumper. Griner again with that deep post position. And we're going to get a tie-up. Well, it looked like she got hammered there on the wrist, but no call, so they'll have a jump ball instead.
I like that she didn't quit on the play, and even if there was a foul, she kept playing through it. But this is one of the things that the Mercury are going to have to do. Try and get some fast break points, get Griner down the floor, and get the ball to her early.
Our officiating crew tonight, Denise Brooks, Michael Price, and Roy Gilbayan.
And the Mercury so important on the jump balls with Griner that they've got to block out on the circle because you'll see Minnesota move.
17 on the shot clock, 7:33 on the game clock, tied at 4. And a jump ball violation. So Phoenix basketball.
And it's not a bad play by Minnesota because it's a dead ball situation and they get to set up their defense.
Taurasi gets the high screen on the drive against McCarville. Put it up and in, so 4 quick points here for Diana Taurasi as she runs over Maya Moore, setting the screen, and the whistle and a foul charged against Diana Taurasi.
The Mercury really spreading the floor, and Griner coming up with a nice pick to open up Taurasi to get to the basket.
Boy, beautiful behind-the-back pass by McCarville. Again, we talked about it in Game 1. Part of her game that really gets overlooked, but a terrific passer from out top.
Yeah, I think she is just so smart and such a key player to this Minnesota victory team trying to win.
Here's Taurasi with Lindsay Whalen draped all over her defensively. Quick ball movement. Here's Dupree. Slips into the paint. On the turn, shoot. Got it.
By shoot around today, Kevin, the Mercury did a nice job, Sandy Brondello, setting up the team as far as spreading the floor a little bit more, getting deep into the corners.
Well, unlike games 1 and 2, as Augustus works off the screen, knocks down that perimeter jumper, and always a good sign for Augustus if she can get going early. But Phoenix had jumped out to an early lead in games 1 and 2 as Janelle McCarville hits the deck, and the foul will be charged against Brittany Griner.
Well, and give Minnesota credit. They're getting in the way of the Mercury. And one of the things that's going to be a key in this game is fouls. Minnesota shot 16 free throws in the second half, only 4 for the Mercury. So the Mercury have to stay out of foul trouble. Penny Taylor had 5 fouls in game 2 and took herself out of the game a little bit, and with her not being on the floor.
Well, that affects so many levels of the game. We talk about the free throw shooting with Penny. She had 11 free throw attempts there in game 1, made 10 of them. Here's Augustus as she backs it out. Looking for McCarville, who's got the mismatch with Taylor on her, over to Brunson. And they'll give Brunson that jumper all day long as Bonner was there to challenge.
And the Mercury have changed things up. DeWanna Bonner has been the defensive stopper throughout the series. And now you've got Penny Taylor on Maya Moore. DeWanna Bonner is guarding Brunson, which frees things up a little bit. And then Dupree is on Simone Augustus.
Well, the one thing about Maya Moore is she makes you expend so much energy as a defender. And DeWanna Bonner really struggling. Nice up and under move there. She got Brunson hung up in the air and puts it up and in.
Yeah, and Bonner's important to be involved in the offense because she can score points.
Yeah, pivotal. We saw back in game 1, she had 16 points. That long arms pays dividends there. She gets a steal. Taylor on the ball fake, gets inside on McCarville, and attacks the basket for 2.
Well, there's so much space. Again, we talked about the spacing, and the Mercury are getting wide, so you've got that drive down the middle.
Sarah Reeve doesn't like what she's seen the last 2 trips down the floor. 5:18 to go here in the opening quarter. Phoenix with a 4-point advantage here in game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. 12-8. Phoenix Mercury, presented by Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. It's right here, Annie.
Yeah, just switching things up on Maya Moore, and good activity by DeWanna Bonner. Those long arms, as you said, Kevin, just reaching in there and knocking it away. And a big turnover. And Penny Taylor, 12 of the points in the paint going to the Mercury.
And as we pointed out during the break, as Minnesota will inbound it here, all 5 starters have scored for Phoenix. And by contrast, Minnesota, which is not out of the norm, only their big 3. Waylon, Augustus, and Moore have scored. 8 on the shot clock. We'll talk more about that as Waylon sets up for a wide open look from deep and buries it. Well, those 3 that we talked about had 72 of Minnesota's 82 points in game 2. That 3 trims the Phoenix lead to 1 as Moore ties up Taylor. Turn and shoot.
I love it.
Little late night banking for Penny Taylor.
Strong move by Taylor.
Pushes that lead back to 3. Here's Augustus. Can't connect on that mid-range jumper. Here's Taurasi. No look dish, finding Bonner. Creeping along the baseline with the easy lay-in.
When the Mercury can rebound on the defensive glass, they can push the ball because you're not seeing Minnesota go to the offensive glass like they did in game 2.
Augustus thought about the 3 for a moment, but puts it on the floor instead. Was able to get Taylor, who kind of lost her balance down, and Augustus able to knock down that little 12-footer.
Yeah, Augustus so good going to the left.
Here's Taylor on the drive, drops it off to Griner. Griner takes it off the window.
She works so hard on using the glass and does a great job getting the angle.
Pushing the lead to 5. You were talking about rebounding. Haven't been too many rebounds to get considering Phoenix shooting 75%. Minnesota shooting 55%.
Oh, nice pass.
Beautiful feed from Waylon.
Yeah, Brittany Griner trying to help out a little bit too much. Lost sight of Waylon cutting to the basket. Or was that Brunson?
Brunson. Brunson, such a smart player. Got her first 2 points there. Griner on the turnaround. Little jump hook. Really cannot defend that.
Yeah, Griner already with 5 shots in this first quarter.
6 early points, 1 rebound. Matching their biggest lead at 5. Here's Augustus again, was able to shake Taylor over the shoulder pass to McCarville, to Brunson. Taurasi firing across to get the rebound, and then lost the handle as Brunson stepped into her path. Here's Maya Moore on the leaner, left that one short, and then a little easy putback, and that's what Moore was allowed her to get going there in that fourth quarter in game 2.
Yeah, and McCarville's so crafty too, keeping that ball alive.
Griner with a head up, passes into the far corner to Bonner for 3, got it! Well, a great sign for DB. He was 0 of 6 from the field in game 2. Needed that.
Yeah, really pressed a little bit, and again, give credit to Minnesota. Took the Mercury out of their offense, but that time Duana Bonner able to set up.
Already surpassing her point total in all of game 2. Here's Brunson, again, deep position. Pulls it back out, loops inside, lays it up and in.
Remember in game 1, too, the Mercury were able to push the ball really fast in that first half.
Had double-digit leads in both games. Taurasi works to her right. Got Brunson on her hip, hangs and hits with a foul.
You can see how aggressive Phoenix is, Kevin. They are just turning the corner. They're getting points in the lane. They're trying to get to the free throw line, and they're creating contact. And as the offensive player, even when they create the contact, they're getting the calls, and we've seen that all season long in the WNBA and in all the playoff games.
First free throw attempts for either team coming up here. Chance for Taurasi to cash in on a three-point opportunity. And completes it.
Well, Phoenix is such a good three-point shooting team, but you know, give them credit. They're 1 of 1 with Bonner's shot, and Diana Taurasi is 3 of 3, and that's going to the basket with those 2-pointers.
And Taurasi's three-point shooting has struggled in this series, as Griner with a nice little tap from behind. Shot nearly 37% from beyond the arc on the season, but is 2 of 17 from downtown in this series. But
Cheryl Reeves kind of still jawing at the officials about the play of Diana Taurasi on the other end.
Well, this is a physical series as Moore somehow able to slip in behind Candace Dupree. A beautiful inbound play.
Yeah, nice pass by Wright.
26-21. Griner calling for it as she and Brunson are locked into a little wrestling match. Now Dupree comes out. The baseline shot trickles across the front of the iron, no good. Here's Augustus. Loves that spot on the floor as Taurasi flies in off the baseline to grab the rebound. Bonner elects to take the long 3. No. Griner on the follow. Up and in.
Boy, you cannot stop that.
And Brunson just turned and looked. What am I supposed to do? I had inside position, and just it's 6'8". As you say, not much you can do. Not to Monica Wright, who's really struggled in this series. Works to her right. Tough baseline pull-up, no. And we'll see if Phoenix milks the clock here. About a 3.5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
That was a tough shot by Monica Wright.
Taurasi, pull up 3, no. Griner fights for the rebound. Phillips there, out to Bonner. Bonner on the pull up. Still leaves plenty of time here. Into the hands of Wright. And will not get the shot off in time. Well, these two heavyweights in a slugfest. Opening quarter, game 3, Western Conference Final. Arizona is where great moments happen and is proud to be the local television home of your Phoenix Mercury. For even more information about the Mercury and the entire Arizona sports scene, log on to foxsportsarizona.com. 28-21 our score as we head to the second quarter here in downtown Phoenix. Kevin Ray alongside the Hall of Famer Ann Myers-Drysdale in this pivotal game 3 as Monica Wright's little turnaround in the lane left short.
Yeah, the Mercury have doubled up points in the paint, 24-12. for Phoenix.
Misty Bass on the floor now as Coach Sandy Brondello going to a bench. Bonner, nice little dribble hesitation, was able to sneak inside. Couldn't get the shot to go down, but will earn herself a trip to the line.
Yeah, DeWanna Bonner just attacking the basket, and as you said, Kevin, little hesitation right there with the head and the ball, and continues, and she's so long getting to the basket, creates contact.
Bonner able to knock it down. Damaris Dantas, the 6'4" rookie out of Brazil, on the floor, along with Whalen, Tan White off the bench. And Maya Moore stays out there as well. The biggest lead for Phoenix now at 9, 30-21, but Whalen takes the handoff. Easy lay in there as nobody closed off the lane.
You know, how about Whalen just turning it up and saying, okay, if you're going to attack, I'm going to attack too.
That's the way she's played this entire series. Phillips coming off of a strong outing in Game 2 where she had 10 points. Dupree with a mismatch. And she'll win that one 9 out of 10.
Yeah, Candace Dupree is one of the toughest players in the WNBA to guard down low in that post position. 4
points, 2 rebounds here for Dupree. Whalen works to her left off of the Moore screen. Out to Tan White. White, long three, no. Moore on the follow and the putback. And a whistle and a foul called inside is Cheryl Reeve telling her team to get over there. Reeve has been quite animated so far in this first quarter plus.
Yeah, Aaron Phillips had inside position on Maya Moore, but Maya Moore is so strong, she pushes Aaron Phillips underneath the basket, and they ended up calling the foul on Aaron Phillips as she's trying to block Moore out. You know, Moore's strength, I mean, athletically too, we've seen some plays where she's gotten called for fouls, but, you know, some of her offensive moves, but the way she goes to the basket, I don't think she even knows her own strength.
Yeah. Fourth year, just an unbelievable all-around player. Had that 48-point outburst back in late July against Atlanta.
And 3 30-plus games against the Mercury.
Yeah, averaged just over 25 points per game in the 4-game regular season series, and an offensive foul charged on Misty Bass.
Now, Sandy Brondello is saying you got to get a little lower, and maybe the timing was off on that. They talked about setting good, hard screens. You've got to be fast, but the ball handler has to wait for it.
7-point edge here for Phoenix. Whalen on the drive, kicks it back to Monica Wright. Got her feet set and is able to knock it down. Big 3-point make there for Monica Wright, who needed that little confidence boost.
Yeah, she was 1 of 4 in the series coming in the playoffs, and but she's one of their 3-point shooters.
Here's Bass up high. Ball movement has stalled a little bit here. Taylor with a dribble hesitation, nowhere to go, out to Bonner. Bonner puts it on the floor, kind of hangs in the air. Off balance, Bass in the follow, no. Went too strong, too quick. Here's Whalen, a chance to pull their club a little bit closer, but quick hands by Dupree. Pass comes up with a steal. Up ahead to Phillips. Reed calls for it. She's got more on her, but Bonner recognizing, got the shot and the foul.
No, what a nice clear out by Candace Dupree. They set up that triangle, and Bonner again deep in the corner, and Dupree comes on the high side, and White just cannot stay with Bonner.
Yeah, two of the players that we knew had to come out with that aggressive mindset have answered the bell, that being DeWanna Bonner, 11 points already. And as you pointed out, Brittany Griner, 8 points, 3 rebounds, matching her Game 2 total.
And Diana Taurasi on the bench with 2 fouls.
Ran into early foul trouble back in Game 2. In fact, picked up her first foul 7 seconds into that game. So Bonner completing the 3-point play, pushing the lead back to 7. Here's Dantas up high, feeds Whalen. Had an unbelievable playoff stretch. Augustus, little runner, no. Here comes Taylor, who flirted with that triple-double in Game 1. Loops inside. Too strong on that shot. Whalen feeding McCarville on a baseline. Taylor able to tie her up. Phillips stepping out. Long three on the way from Lindsay Whalen. 10 points already for Whalen.
Yeah, clutch shot by Lindsay Whalen.
Phillips thought about the pull-up. Taylor instead will take the three. Won't go. Whalen lead pass up ahead to Monica Wright. Wright gets tied up, and it hits the shot. Well, she thought for a moment about passing it back out because Taylor appeared to get herself set defensively, but Monica Wright being aggressive and went right into Taylor.
Now, she just releases, and we've seen that in the first game, and then all of a sudden Penny Taylor gets her hands over the offensive player, and Wright able to knock that shot down. But watch for Minnesota to try and release a little bit more, and the Mercury are going to have to make an adjustment defensively to get somebody back.
It just goes back to what we said before, just how much emphasis there is on rebounding.
Yeah, 9-point lead, just down to 1.
And Sandy Brondello with that lead being trimmed to 1. We'll take a timeout. 6:20 to play here. Lynx leading early by 2. Get a stop in play, and something that has to put Coach Cheryl Reeve at ease a little bit is somebody other than Whalen, Moore, or Augustus is scoring, with Monica Wright providing 6 points off of the Minnesota bench.
Yeah, Whalen with 10 points, 2 of 2 from three-point range. Coming into the playoffs, she was only 1 of 10 from three-point range.
Wright stays out there. Griner comes out high. Shea Murphy, Misty Bass joining the trio of Taurasi, Taylor, and Griner. Taurasi kind of mishandled, finds Griner all alone. Griner on the turn, and she'll be fouled there by Simone Augustus, who said a lot of leather. But Mike Price makes the call, and that will send Brittany Griner to the line to shoot 2.
Well, Taurasi's saying her uniform is getting grabbed, and I made the mistake. I was looking at her assists. She had 2, but only 1 foul. But, you know, she gets a lot of contact, and the uniforms are big. Players are going to grab them. Just, you know, you can get away with it, you get away with it.
Yeah, your hand can kind of get lost in all that fabric there. As Griner able to knock down the first free throw. 9 points already for Brittany Griner. Defensive Player of the Year. And gets the pair, so gives them a little breathing room now at 37-34. Phoenix setting up a little zone now. Shea Murphy out top along with Dinah Taurasi. Here's Whalen over to McCarville. We mentioned McCarville not afraid to shoot that perimeter shot. Brunson out to Whalen. He's already hit 2 threes. Can't connect on the third. Long rebound, though, out to Augustus.
McCarville again, keeping it alive. The hardest part is to rebound out of his zone.
Sandy Brondello trying to give this Minnesota bunch some different looks defensively. Brunson pulls it out. Here's Augustus raising up for 3, way off the mark. And Taylor there to grab the rebound for Phoenix. Rossi head down on the drive, finds Griner up and in.
Wow, those big hands, just grabbing it with that one hand and going up.
It almost appeared to be behind the basket when she went up with that shot.
And good communication between Taurasi and Griner.
Whalen able to sneak behind Taurasi, who had turned her head for just a split second. And that's all it takes for Lindsay Whalen. Off to another phenomenal start. 12 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds.
Yeah, and I really thought she was a key in that game 2 in that second quarter. Kept everybody alive for Minnesota.
Rossi on the drive, splits the 2 defenders and attacking the basket for the lay-in. 9 points for Dinah Taurasi. Maya Moore straight away, 19-footer, got it.
Remember in game 1, Maya Moore got into foul trouble and was really tentative too, and you know the defense was so good on her. She is a great player and made adjustments.
Rossi sneaks in on the baseline, got the shot and the foul.
What a great play by Diana Taurasi, using her size against Whalen to get in front, gets the contact down below, and Penny Taylor finding her. And again, we talked about the spacing. That middle is wide open, and those passes are getting to the cutters.
First personal foul on Whalen. As Taurasi can't connect. Griner had it for a moment, but unable to control. Would have been a big offensive rebound there on the miss. Augustus on the crossover. Out to Moore, corner three. Hangs on the iron, loose ball. Murphy in the land of the Giants rips it away. Taurasi, pull up floater, no.
Now the Mercury have had some good shots.
Here's Whalen. Full attack mode as she gets tangled up there with Misty Bass, who picks up the foul. Bass will sit down. Candace Dupree comes back in. Third team foul on Phoenix. Minnesota with 4. 3:46 to play here in the first half. Winner will advance to the WNBA Finals, which will begin on Sunday. Moore, long three, no, but a long rebound into the hands of Rebecca Brunson.
Now Brittany Griner never switched up with Diana Taurasi. Taurasi trying to switch up on the mismatch, and now Lindsay Whalen's got the advantage.
Whalen outside, trying to cross up Griner. Does a pretty admirable job considering her size and staying with her. Now Augustus trying to lock her up. Augustus just kind of throws one up. Moving to her right and got it up and over the outstretched hands of Brittany Griner. 3-point Phoenix lead.
Yeah, she was a 2-time college player of the year, and they're going to call an offensive foul with Shea Murphy trying to cut to the basket. And again, Minnesota doing a good job just stepping in front of the cutters.
The offensive foul, number 14, Shea Murphy.
But, you know, that shot by Simone Augustus, I mean, she just has no fear and was the MVP of the finals in 2011.
Led all guards this season, shooting just over 51%. Dantas stays on the floor now. Here's Moore curling off of that screen, trying to feed a baseline, but Murphy steps into the passing lane for the steal. Rossi gets the screen from Griner. Keeps coming, just kind of takes it high off the glass, knowing that Griner was trailing on the play. But last touch by Phoenix. Timeout on the floor. 2:32 to play here in the first. Minnesota Lynx franchise. The club's all-time leading scorer, and when you hit shots like that, well defended, sometimes this great offense wins out.
Yeah, that's what you call a fadeaway, because all year long, Brittany Griner, again, the Defensive Player of the Year, has changed shots on their opponents, and that time, Simone Augustus did not change.
Minnesota out of the timeout, a chance to tie with a three. Whalen has continued her torrid pace of play through these 2014 playoffs. 4 on the shot clock. Augustus working to her left, raising up, shooting. Can't connect on that one. Phoenix shooting 58%. Minnesota shooting 49%. Whistle and a foul. That'll be the 15th foul. And personal foul number 2 on Maya Moore. That'll put Diana Taurasi at the line.
Taurasi to the line. Shooting 2.
Taurasi with 23 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists in game 2. And you go back to game 2 and you look at the loss, and it's easy to forget Phoenix really had control of that game for 3.5 quarters, almost, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, they outshot them, shot 47.5%. The threes, but it was, to me, it was the free throws. 22 of 25, the Lynx were, and for the Mercury, they were 15 of 16, didn't get to the free throw line, and rebounds were pretty even.
Yeah, and it just goes back to being aggressive. Whalen and Taurasi get tangled up. 45-40. Under 2 minutes to play. Whalen on the cut. Tough shot there. Loose ball and last touch by Minnesota.
Yeah, Dewana Bonner came out of nowhere. I think Lindsay Whalen thought that she had Taurasi beat, and then Bonner was there and forced Whalen to take a bad shot.
Kiara Reeve just kind of laughing with hands on hips. Looking for Griner on the post up. Got the shot and the foul.
Griner took 8 shots in game 2. She's now 6 of 8 in this first half. And again, look at the spacing, how deep Griner gets in the lane and then down low.
Well, she has had a very business-like demeanor, even going back to coming out here for warm-ups.
Well, we talked about it in the LA game. She got manhandled in that game 1. 2 of 11 got pushed around. The second game, she just dominated against the Sparks. And kind of a lackluster game in game 2 against the Minnesota Lynx, and now she's come out focused.
Free throws push the lead back to 8. Here's Moore curling off the top. Bonner with a rejection. Taylor got a hand on it, but it trickles back out to Lindsay Whalen. 7 on the shot clock. Whalen jump stop, finds Brunson. Right of the lane. Jumper, no, but...
And that's just a fatigue play by the Mercury. Just standing around watching.
Yeah, 4 players watching the loose ball hit the floor, and now the result is a foul on Penny Taylor. So just goes back to why those loose balls, those 50-50 balls, have to be so highly valued.
Yeah, you work so hard on defense, and Bonner has a great block, and they can't come up with it there. Penny Taylor tries, but then they got Brunson taking a shot, which they want, and then they stop playing.
48-40, under a minute to go here in the first half. Whalen fires it right on the left wing to Augustus. Griner stepping out on her. Over to Whalen. Another look for 3. This one won't go. Griner just ripping it away from her teammate, Penny Taylor, who will gladly give that one up.
Tried to get her balance back on that.
Rossi working against Maya Moore. On the straightaway jumper, rattles it in.
What a great job by Griner to hold her position and not throw her arms out to get an offensive foul.
And Lindsay Whalen bringing it across the midcourt stripe. Wants a timeout as Minnesota will try to set up a final play with 21.5 left here in the first half. Phoenix on top by 10, 50-40. Phoenix Mercury, presented by Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. Number 3 was going to come out and do everything in her power to help her team advance. 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from the free throw stripe, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. With Minnesota with plenty of time to work for a good final shot here. Whalen has been scintillating, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
Missed her last couple shots though.
Rossi stepping out on her. Not quite a second differential between the shot clock, game clock, and the lane just opens up inexplicably for Lindsay Whalen.
Yeah, they do a great job getting Griner out of there.
Bonner on the crossover, deep 3 on the way. Went glass and rimmed out. A communication breakdown there, that last defensive stretch for Phoenix. And as a result, they'll take an 8-point lead into the locker room here in Game 3 of the WNBA Western Conference Finals. Phoenix on top 50-42. Stay with us here at halftime. A special
throws in the first half. They have got to be more determined to defend, which ignites their transition game, which will get them to the free throw line.
All right, Phoenix trying to continue one of the best seasons in WNBA history. Will look to close out Minnesota and head to the WNBA Finals for the 4th time in team history. Here's Kevin Ray and Aaron Myers-Drysdale.
Whalen outside as Moore sets the screen, and Moore and Taurasi get tangled up. The 2 former Huskies kind of locking on. MMA style there for a moment. So my question is, how does Gino Auriemma watch a game like this when he's got 2 of his favorite players out there?
Well, he's got a lot of Huskies playing in the WNBA. Nice.
Taylor with a beautiful backdoor cut, and Griner reads it. Easy lay in there for Penny Taylor to push the lead back to 10.
Yeah, that's one of the things in shoot-around that Sandy Brondello talked about, is look for the cutters, even when the ball is in Brittany Griner's hands.
The Tawana Bonner opening up here on Maya Moore defensively. Now Griner steps out. Augustus raising up from deep and knocks it down over Taurasi.
Just a great shot by Simone Augustus.
Yeah, again, the defender, Taurasi right there. Taylor looking for the three and answers with a trio of her own. So we've seen big shot after big shot. We're trying to break free from Bonner. Now they get the switch as Bonner coming out on Whalen. 3 in the shot clock. Augustus, no choice. Doesn't matter.
In Minnesota, the young lady from the Little League, Monet Davis, was there at the game. Favorite player is Maya Moore. And Simone Augustus, before she got into high school, Money, which is her nickname, was on the cover of Sports Illustrated Women. So, you know, you look at the Monet going for Minnesota.
2 big threes to get the scoring opening up here in the third quarter. Whalen again able to turn the corner, but this time Griner there. Well, the help defense for Phoenix has been outstanding to start this third quarter. Brunson spinning back to her left, lost the handle. 1 on the shot clock, and Whalen won't get it off in time. Well, sweltering defense, and if not for 2 just unbelievable three-point shots by Brunson, Minnesota would be shooting blanks here to start this third quarter.
And in game 1, we saw that with Phoenix on the defensive end. There were about 3 or 4 times they had Minnesota at the shot clock.
Whalen checking Taurasi defensively. Griner, that little right hand running hook, rolls it up and in. Now we see some emotion coming out of Griner.
This nice little slip screen on her part.
Carble getting the switch. Smaller Taylor on her. And working baseline, and Taylor no choice, had to reach out, and so that'll be 3 on Penny Taylor.
So you see Griner will come up a little bit. And there, again, the spacing. There's enough room for Diana Taurasi to get a one-on-one pass to Brittany Griner, and she's got room enough to maneuver in there.
And now with the substitution, McCarville comes out. Monica Wright comes in.
Now it's a small team, but a fast team. A lot of shooters for Minnesota.
And we saw that for a stretch there in the first half. Monica Wright providing a nice lift off of the bench. Long jumper off of the mark there by Maya Moore. Had 6 first half points. 57-48. Here's Dupree. Working against Moore. Spins back to a right. Whalen steps down and gets a steal. Whalen keeps coming. Jumps it up in the lane. Puts it up and in.
Yeah, Lindsay Whalen, you've just got to stop her out further away out of the lane. And she's so strong. And she made the great defensive play to knock it away from Dupree.
16 points, 6 rebounds. Dupree slips inside, scores it with a left hand, and the foul.
Well, thank you very much, Diana Taurasi. What great trust to come right back to Candace Dupree and give her the opportunity to go one-on-one again. And again, you see Dupree slips back there, kind of a back door, and Maya Moore gets caught on the high side.
3rd personal foul on Maya Moore. And we have the number 1 and number 2 leaders in assists on the court here tonight, Taurasi and Lindsay Whalen. And not surprisingly, 5 assists for Whalen, 7 for Taurasi. Here's Wright, puts it on the floor, drives inside. She'll be grabbed and fouled there. And Penny Taylor telling Griner, don't need to do that. Just a second on Griner, but you don't want to give away cheap fouls like that.
Right, exactly what you're doing. And those long arms sometimes can, you know, as she gets stronger and more in this league, and the more control she has on her arms, obviously she won't be committing those kind of fouls. But she doesn't have a block in this game yet.
Wright steps up to the line and knocked down the first. Missed the first 10 games of the season following knee surgery. Struggled from downtown, as you pointed out early on, Annie, but did close the season by shooting 49% from the field in the final 10 outings. Here's Taurasi on the drive and spin. Got some contact, left the shot short, and Taylor is going to pick up foul number 4.
That's huge for the Mercury to have Penny Taylor sit. She was in foul trouble in game 2, and look for Minnesota to really take advantage of Penny Taylor out and see if Erin Phillips can be productive like she was in game 2. Was all over the boards and knocked down some big baskets.
Got a lot of time left in this third quarter. 6:23 to be exact, and Minnesota within 8. Here's Whalen.
Yeah, the Lynx have done a good job playing at their pace right now.
Augustus, little dribble hesitation. Bonner doing her best to stay in front of her. Augustus working. Bonner, Moore, ball fake, step in, got it. Well, despite all that great defense, great offensive player just takes the air out of the arena with that jumper. Here's Erin Phillips, had 10 points in game 2. Now whistling a foul as Griner fighting across the lane. And this is one of those situations where Brittany Griner, as a young player, has to recognize with Penny Taylor on the bench, she's got to be demonstrative and go get the basketball.
Absolutely, and create fouls. Brunson 3 fouls. If she gets in foul trouble, that would be a key, as McCarville was in game 2, because Brunson's such a good rebounder.
Here's Phillips, has not scored. Trying to get her first hoop there, no. And a foul as Brunson came over the top of Phillips, who, despite her stature chalked up against Brunson, was able to get her hand on the basketball and forcing Brunson into the foul. And for Rebecca Brunson, that will be her 4th foul.
Erin Phillips, we talk about the tenacity and the toughness of Lindsay Whalen. Erin Phillips has that same toughness.
Inbound to Griner. Devereaux Peters. Good ball movement. Taurasi sets, fires for 3. Yes!
Again, the spacing, as you said, Kevin, the ball movement. Great open shot for Diana Taurasi. As soon as Minnesota hit that double team on Griner.
Lead at 9. Taurasi 18 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. Here's Augustus. Hit a couple of big threes already here in this third. Whalen again sneaking across the lane.
Yeah, Diana Taurasi was on Maya Moore, and Brittany Griner got switched off on Whalen, and Griner is used to helping on the outside.
Here's Taurasi way outside, looks for Dupree, who got the mismatch. Whalen hands all over Dupree. And then a traveling call on Candice Dupree. Time out on the floor. 4:52 to play here in the third quarter. Game 3 of the movement for Phoenix, and on full display right there, Annie.
Yeah, shoot around today. Sandy Brondello said, don't hold the ball. Keep it moving on the offensive end. Get quick passes. And Brittany Griner recognized the double team and got it going with Erin Phillips right over to Taurasi for her first 3.
18 points for Taurasi. Here's Monica Wright. Wright with Phillips defending on her. Works inside, lost the handle. Bonner steps in with the steal. Up ahead to Phillips, who wasn't looking.
It looked like the Mercury wanted to get into a fast break offense.
Yeah, transition points have been few and far between. Augustus again rising up from 16, but no. Devereaux Peters there for the rebound. Augustus cutting down the lane.
Yeah, and Peters does a nice job getting to the basket off that offensive rebound, and Griner, and that's one of the things that the Mercury did in the first game, is get a body on the person. And so Peters brings it out, and Augustus recognizes, cuts to the middle and down the lane, and that's one of the things that Minnesota, again, they are very good at cutting when their outside passers can see them.
Rossi will sit down. Penny Taylor will come in, so Taylor will have to be especially careful here with 4 personal fouls, as Sandy Brondello trying to give Diana Taurasi a rest a little early here in the third. Augustus with the free throws. 5-point Phoenix lead, 63-58. Griner calls for it, draws the double team, finds a cutting DeWanna Bonner. Oh, that's a danger of double teaming Brittany Griner.
Well, again, Bonner is so deep in the corner that Monica Wright came a long way for that double team, and Bonner just followed her through, and Griner found Bonner.
Lead back at 7. Griner steps out. Here's Augustus. Dupree trying to stay in front of her. Augustus on the drive, took it from the hip, up and in. And she is definitely got the mojo flowing here in this third quarter. Dupree with a mismatch with Monica Wright on her. Out to Bonner. Long three on the way. Looked like Moore may have been able to get a piece of that.
Well, Bonner thought it was a piece of her hand.
Here's Augustus working on Phillips, and Phillips on a step in her path, and foul call there on Aaron Phillips. And Rossi's stint on the bench, a very brief one.
Yeah, Augustus getting down in that paint with 3 white jerseys around her and getting herself to the free throw line.
There's Rossi back at the scorer's table. Augustus can't hit the free throw. And not surprisingly, starters playing big minutes tonight with, again, the winner not having to play until Sunday, Annie. And regardless of who wins this game, they'll have home court advantage, whether it's Phoenix or Minnesota.
Yeah, it's all on the line right now, so you want your best players out there.
Yeah.
And we saw that again in the double overtime yesterday with Chicago and Indiana.
You can sleep tomorrow. 65-61.
Yeah, you got to find that energy.
Corner. Griner finds Dupree. Dupree, little mid-range jumper, which she is as good as anybody in the league at, knocks it down. 9 points for Candice Dupree. Here's McCarville, who's back in, got the ball fake. Out to Augustus, all alone for 3. No good. Loose ball rebound. Bonner comes out of traffic with it, and then Moore ripped it out of her hands, and now Griner steps across, and Griner picking up the foul.
Well, DeWanna Bonner's asking, I've got the ball with 2 hands, and Maya Moore, again, we talked about her strength, and she stays in there. But Bonner, from our angle, she looks like she gets a hold of it.
2 shots.
And the ball's knocked away by Peters coming down, and it falls right into Maya Moore's hand, but Griner picks up the foul.
On any, you hear players and coaches talk, so you've got to be strong with the basketball.
Right, and Griner now, not only with the fouls, but she's only taken 1 shot in this third quarter. She had shot the ball so well, 6 of 8 in that first half, and now only 1 shot in the third quarter. So she's going to be a key in the fourth quarter for the Mercury.
And now those second shot opportunities, the loose balls paying off with Minnesota drawing even on the free throw category as Dupree unable to hit that little floater. Each team 10 of 11 from the line.
Yeah, Phoenix in the minus with rebounds.
Augustus on the drive again, getting too deep in the paint. And Sandy Brondello barking for a timeout, and she will finally get it with 2:03 to play here in this third quarter. And her team right now clinging to a 2-point lead, 67-65. The Phoenix Mercury, presented by Casino Arizona, and talking
2 offensive rebounds, 10 offensive rebounds compared to 4 total Lynx over the Mercury. And that rebounding has got them into the running game.
And more importantly, it has also impacted the Phoenix foul situation. Penny Taylor with 4, Brittany Griner on the bench with 4. So this bunch on the floor now for Phoenix is going to have to find a way to get it done. Here's Dupree. Works against Deborah Peters. Lost the handle. Pass able to track it back down. 6 on the shot clock. Taurasi works to her right. Finds Bonner. Bonner wide open for 3. Shot on the way. No. Rebound Whalen. And a chance for Minnesota to tie or take the lead since the opening moments of this game. And you can kind of hear the nervousness from this crowd. Moore on the drive, scoop and score.
What a difference. You see the Lynx are attacking in the lane, and all of a sudden the Mercury have gone to the outside shot.
Bonner set up way outside. Here's Taurasi. Drifting to her left. Shoot it, get it. Taurasi continues to complain that she's being grabbed around the jersey and the waist by the Minnesota defenders. Phoenix with 5 team fouls, so you do not want to put Minnesota on the line anymore. McCarville with a bad choice for a three-point shot.
Well, it's the kind of shot that the Mercury wanted the Lynx to take.
Here's Taurasi outside, 12 on the shot clock, 34 on the game clock. On the crossover, keeps coming. Into the corner, she finds Dupree. Baseline jumper, rims out, no. Final 21 seconds. We'll see if Whalen and company will work for the final shot of the quarter. It appears they will. Whalen with 18 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Working to her right, Moore flashing to the basket. Here's Whalen, dribble hesitation, gets tied up, and a travel. Now Penny Taylor taking a little bit of a gamble with 4 fouls, but playing great face-up defense there.
Well, veteran player and understands that she does have 4 fouls, but went for the ball, and you talked about it. They're going for that 50-50 ball.
Taurasi from half court, cashing it in. Three of the WNBA Western Conference Finals. Diana Taurasi hitting that long shot just beyond the half-court stripe to close out the third quarter, and for her club certainly needing that. Taurasi with 23. Here's Griner across the lane, leans in, hangs, but trickles off the front of the iron. Simone Augustus, the big difference maker in that third quarter, Annie. She had 13 of her 21 there in that third.
Well, that's just it. We talked about the big 3. It can be Whalen, it can be Augustus or Moore.
Augustus catch and shoot, no. Taurasi rebound. They've got numbers that they push. Devereaux Peters trailing on the play. Here comes Taurasi on the drive and forces the foul there by McCarville. And that is the first personal on McCarville, but a shooting foul nonetheless, and it would certainly benefit Phoenix to get themselves to the stripe here in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, because they only had 1 free throw in the third quarter to 8 for the Lynx. And that's what that rebounding will do. If you get defensive boards, and that's what we saw in the first half with the Mercury, when they were getting defensive rebounds, they were pushing the ball. They had the tempo, they were running. And that time, Diana Taurasi got the outlet, and she pushed the ball.
Well, Cheryl Reeve saying before game 2, telling her team, as Taurasi can't connect on the second one, but set the championship trophy in the middle of their locker room floor as Moore on the drive and kick. It said they're going to have to rip it away from us if they want it. And that's exactly what Phoenix is attempting to do, but Minnesota will not go quietly. Taylor on the drive, lost the handle, hits the deck, looks for help, finds Taurasi on the drive, lay it up and in. Brunson playing with 4 fouls, had no choice but to let her go, and Cheryl Reeve calling a timeout at the 20. It's a 20, so we'll keep it right here. And all of a sudden, after having a tie game, Phoenix has pushed the lead back to 8.
Yeah, just a heads-up play by Penny Taylor. Once she lost it, the hustle, the 50-50 ball, and she recognizes that Diana Taurasi gets herself open, calls for it right down in the corner, and then attacks to the glass.
2 of the game's very best in Taurasi and Taylor. And you just knew coming into a game like this, the setting, it was set up perfectly for Diana Taurasi, because these are the games, the moments that she just absolutely lives for. 26 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 10 of 14 from the field in her 28 minutes.
Her whole career, her whole life playing the game of basketball, she thrives in these moments.
But Minnesota's got some clutch players of their own. Lindsay Whalen, Maya Moore, Simone Augustus. They'll have something to say before this one is over with. Peters up high, the handoff now to Whalen. Taurasi and Taylor hit the deck. And a foul is going to be called on Penny Taylor. And that is going to be number 5.
Yeah, that time she looked like she had position from behind. The ball is loose. Nobody's got control of it. And so it's interesting that it is, when it's a loose ball, how do they call loose ball fouls like that? Now, was it because Whalen tripped and falls over Penny Taylor? But it's a loose ball. Nobody's got position.
Regardless, it's foul number 5. Whalen's pull up in the paint, left short. So Penny Taylor will have to be a spectator for the next 2 or 3 minutes at the very least, you would think.
But you love her aggressiveness going for the ball.
Bass sets a screen. No-look dish as she rolls to the basket, but a block there by Peters.
And the Lynx coming down, and they're saying Diana Taurasi slapping at the ball a little bit too much, picking up the foul.
Here's Moore. Moore, quick release on the 3. Left it short. Peters can't get the easy putback. Boy, a big missed opportunity there for Peters and the Lynx.
Yeah, huge break for the Mercury.
Here's Taurasi, dribble hesitation, drives to the basket, up and in. As she is able to get the foul on Maya Moore.
Maya Moore had her back to Diana Taurasi, and as soon as Taurasi turned the corner, Maya Moore in the restricted area and just turns a little bit too late. But aggressive play by Taurasi with 28 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Has missed 3 free throws. That's not like D.
A 10-0 run here by Phoenix after being tied at 67-all. Whalen, pull up, right elbow, no. She's gone a little cold since that hot start. Phoenix, though, needs to try and build on this. This is a Minnesota team that has plenty of comebacks through the course of the season. Taurasi left open, top of the key, 3, yes! And it has been number 3, powering her team on a 13-0 run. Well, this is all these two franchises have done since 2007. Minnesota trying to punch their ticket to a 4th straight WNBA Finals appearance, but Whalen comes up short on that shot. We were tied at 67-all. Penny Taylor had picked up her 5th foul, and you could just feel the kind of sense of gloom coming from the crowd, Annie, but number 3 has picked him up in a big way. Taurasi finds Dupree slipping to her right. Mid-range jumper, no.
I talked about Minnesota's big 3. They've got 55 of the points of the 67 for the Lynx.
Aaron Phillips trying to stay in front of Simone Augustus, who has had a brilliant second half. Gets the shot blocked from behind by Griner. Bonner on the pull-up, step back, no. And that might be one where she would have been better served to wait to allow Griner and the rest of her teammates to get down and help. Whalen, pull up. And all of a sudden, Lindsay Whalen has gone cold.
Now you wonder, again, the fatigue factor. These players have played a lot of minutes. But as you said earlier, you know, you're going to go home if you can't gut it out.
Here's Phillips wet on the left wing. Griner calls for it, gets it over the top, leans in, shoot, score, and draw the foul.
Now Brittany Griner called it all the way. Pass was a little low. Aaron Phillips does a great job getting it to her. And Griner will hold on to it. And even with the double team, and she puts it in.
BG to line. Shooting line.
Well, I thought that foul was called on Rebecca Brunson. Brunson sat down, but he is still
Moore,
listed with 4. But yeah, they've posted that to Maya Moore, who picks up her 4th. 82. Check that, 83-67. Augustus not ready for it. Phillips steps in to get the steal.
That's only the 8th turnover for the Lynx.
Here's Phillips on the drive and kick. Finds Bonner in the corner. Looks for them help. Griner across the lane. Takes it off the glass and gets it.
Again, there's that spacing, letting the lane wide open for Brittany Griner to get a good post up, and the nice pass from Bonner in the corner.
An 18-0 run. Augustus drawing the double team out to Monica Wright. Had it poked from behind by Taurasi. 10 on the shot clock here for Minnesota.
Well, right now, if you're the Mercury, you don't want Augustus, Moore, or Whalen to get the ball. Let the other players take the shot.
Here's Moore beyond the arc. Now steps into the corner. Griner steps out and seals off anywhere to go. Does find Peters on the turn and shoot. Well, this is a Minnesota team, 105 victories since 2011, Annie, tying Los Angeles, the league's most ever over a 4-year span. Phillips can't control the pass. Dupree coming out.
Well, it certainly is a team with a lot of heart. WNBA champions. You know, and when you're the champions, which the Mercury have had 2 years, you've got the target on your back. And you've got the MVP of the league, and Maya Moore has had a tremendous year this year. And great team.
Here's the handoff to Whalen, and Whalen again able to get inside. And she has been able to do that multiple times throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, a lot of time left, too.
Well, plenty of time left. Again, this is a Minnesota team that can strike quickly. Dupree, though, on the attack. Takes it off the glass to the hoop.
Yeah, Candace Dupree was not happy with the last play set, and that time she just said, I'm taking it myself.
Like a true veteran, 11 points for Dupree on 5 of 9 shooting. Here's Whalen. Gets the switch. Moore defended by Phillips. Moore can't hit the leaner.
Now Maya Moore, 6 of 14, 0 for 5 from the three-point range, and only 4 of 4 from free throws.
Had that huge 31-point outburst in game 2. Here's Phillips off the Griner screen. Taurasi, pull-up 3. Left it short. And Moore just allows the loose ball to trickle out of bounds. Stops the clock momentarily at 3:28. And Cheryl Reeve will call a timeout. Looks like see that the full over to 20. It's a 20-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here.
Down the lane quite as much as they did in the first half, which they've gotten a few of those in the second half. But Diana Taurasi, you know, hitting that big shot at the quarter, that was huge. And that's such a momentum builder. And you got to give credit to the defense. Simone Augustus has played her heart out, 21 points. Whalen's got 20 points, Moore 16. But you know what? When you're the only go-to person, that can wear you down sometimes.
Right. And you got to play defense on the other end.
Oh, yeah.
There is that. Put it into the hands of Augustus, who had 13 of her 21 in the third quarter, but has not scored here in the fourth. Monica Wright tied up in the corner. Penny Taylor, who's back on the floor, gives it off the right. Griner with a block.
Griner gets her first block of the game.
On the shot clock as Taylor steps in, and then Monica Wright reaching over the top of Taylor will be called for the personal. Comes with 3:03 to play. And these fans can almost taste it.
Well, and this is a Mercury team that has played at such a high level this year. And you look that if they can play at their best, it's going to be tough for opponents to beat them at their best.
Minnesota kind of scrambling defensively a little bit now. Phoenix trying to use some of the shot clock and the game clock. Taurasi to her left, keeps coming, jump stop, strip there. Monica Wright comes away with it. Minnesota's going to have to go to work quickly here. Whalen fouled from behind by Diana Taurasi. That'll be the 4th team foul on Phoenix.
Well, even with the 11 turnovers by the Mercury, only 13 points were scored so far by the Mercury.
Now we get a full timeout. Comes with 2:37 to go here in the 4th, and Phoenix leading 87-69. The Phoenix Mercury.
Stick Resort. Win your way.
87-69. Back here in downtown Phoenix at the U.S. Airways Center with the Hall of Famer Ann Myers Drysdale. Kevin Ray courtside with you here. Phoenix looking to close it out in this deciding Game 3. Bonner got a hand on it. Taurasi diving for the loose ball. And will pick up the foul. And that'll be the 15 foul. Stops the clock at 2:27. And with Diana Taurasi's 31 points tonight, Annie, that's 40 games in her career of 30 points or more, which is a league record.
Now she's the 4th player in league history to have averaged over 20 points in playoff. And this is a Mercury team against the Lynx. I mean, give credit to the Lynx. I mean, they fought back. They had a great run in that 3rd quarter. This is their first free throws in the 4th quarter. But did they expend a little bit too much energy in Game 2? And then also the comeback in this game.
And Whalen, who has had an absolutely brilliant playoff run, has come up cold here in this 4th. But I think you said it best.
They're saying it's 8 seconds. Penny Taylor came up with that rebound, and the Mercury did not get the ball cross court soon enough. And those are plays, you know, like Brittany Griner. She can handle the ball, bringing it up like that. But the decision to do it, and Sandy Brondello talked about indecisive decisions.
Right. Kind of clean up a little moisture there on the floor. Pointed out by Penny Taylor. Here's Simone Augustus. Augustus on the crossover, attacks the basket, up off the glass, left it short. And again, it was Simone Augustus who really helped propel her team into that scoring run of their own to tie it up at 67, 13 of her 21 coming in that 3rd quarter. Tied up, now she gets it back from Taurasi, and she'll be fouled there by Maya Moore, who will pick up her 5th foul. And now a technical foul on Cheryl Reeve. And
a technical foul has also been assessed on Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve. To shoot the technical.
Well, the veteran coach has been animated throughout the night, but it's that same kind of passion and drive that she expects from her team, and you would expect nothing less than a closeout game like this. Amy.
Yeah, she's done a great job at Minnesota, obviously with the 2 championships, and looks like we'll fall short this year, but the fact that they're in the Western Conference Finals and a great group of not only starters but young players in this Minnesota Lynx organization.
And she will clear her bench here, giving her young players an opportunity to experience a game like this.
And they're throwing her out.
Oh, and Cheryl Reeve waving off Mike Price. And I'm not sure if she did something or said something.
I don't think she stopped talking and saying things to Mike Price, but what a classy move to come up to Diana Taurasi. But Taurasi, it's all about the win tonight.
And Reeve getting in her money's worth as she kind of caroms towards Mike Price as she heads to the exit. And this Mercury team, which in a lot of ways felt embarrassed by how they performed in the conference finals last year to this same Minnesota team, used that fuel throughout the course of the season, Annie.
Yeah, got a new coach in Sandy Brondello and made some changes and said defense is what's going to win the game. We've got scores. We know what we can do. And this Mercury team bought into what Sandy Brondello was bringing to the table.
Taurasi, Griner, Bonner, Taylor, they'll all sit down. Candace Dupree will be at the line. And these fans on their feet. As Dupree rattles it in. The Mercury ready to advance to the WNBA Finals for the 4th time in franchise history.
And dominated a lot of their opponents this year.
Had one of the highest margins of victory in league history as Tan White is able to knock down the long corner 3.
And continuing at 58% in this game, how well they shot the ball. 5 of 12 were selective on their 3-point shots.
And Andy, you talk about Misty Bass takes a nice pass from Shea Murphy for the lay-in. But you talk about money players and the kind of players you want and need on your team to win big games, to win championships. Diana Taurasi would improve to 8-1 in either Game 3 or Game 5 playoff series, and 7-0 in such games when she is on that team.
And she does the things to make her team win. It's the 7th time that the Phoenix Mercury have led the league in scoring, the most out of any organization.
Jekabsone drills the 3. And a game that, if you can imagine, was tied at 67. Now a 22-point lead. Candice Dupree will get a nice round of applause, as will Aaron Phillips.
And only 5 players returning from last year's team. 6 new players. And certainly, as you said, last year losing 2 games in the Western Conference Finals to Minnesota and getting swept pretty good. You remember that.
Yeah.
And they did, and it helps fuel the fire.
To the line. 2 shots.
So Game 1 of the WNBA Finals would be Sunday right here at the U.S. Airways Center. And Phoenix will play host to either Indiana. It's a pretty good series back in 2009.
Oh, boy. Yeah, to make
5-game white knuckle ride, or Elena Deladon, Sylvia Fowles, Courtney Vandersloot, and the Chicago Sky. Their Game 3 tomorrow in Indianapolis.
And the Mercury won both those games against both those teams. It's a great victory. It's been a great year, Kevin. Been fun working with you.
It has been a fabulous ride, to say the least. A nice slip pass there. Jekabsone to Bass, unable to close the deal. Here's Tan White on the drive. Tap back there by Coburn. And Minnesota will have a chance with 19.4 left. These fans ready to officially erupt with a victory celebration. And want to remind you to stay with us as we will show you the trophy presentation.
Good hands by Bias.
Trickles back to Tan White, who quickly turns and puts it up and in. Final seconds ticking off here. That'll do it. The Phoenix Mercury, Western Conference champions, with a final 96-78 win over the Minnesota Lynx. The Phoenix Mercury are heading back to the WNBA Finals. Stay with us, a quick timeout, and we'll be back with the trophy presentation and more right after this.
And now advances to the WNBA Finals.